In this video, we're going to walk through how brands can strategically use discounts to lower CAC, improve overall unit economics, and increase sales. My name is Eric Andrews, and I'm the Director of Commerce Strategy at Ordergroove. And in the next few minutes, you're going to learn step by step how to evaluate the unit economics of different discount strategies so that you can increase sales and optimize profitability. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so first we're going to go through a couple definitions and then we're going to dive straight in to the math and the case study. So first off, who's this video for? It's for e-commerce and retail businesses, but honestly, it's really for any business looking to optimize their unit economics by using strategic discounts to lower CAC. So that could be almost any business in the world. Definitions, discounts. My definition is that it's a percent or a dollar discount you give back to a customer as a promotion to buy a certain offer. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of different discounts today. Then you have your CAC, aka customer acquisition costs. This is the average marketing or advertising you invest to get one customer to buy for the very first time. We're focused on the first purchase because the vast majority of your paid marketing, especially in e-commerce, is targeted to get people to make that first purchase. Generally, if they make subsequent purchases from there, there won't be a lot of marketing investment that you need to do to get those purchases. So they'll be on a subscription program, or they'll be on your email list, or they'll be following you organically on social. So we focus on the first order with customer acquisition cost. And then finally, the whole point of today, the framework we're going to be using to understand our business is something called the unit economics framework. This just means the economics of your relationship with one single customer. So how much revenue do you make off them? What are the discounts? What are the COGS? What are the profits? And so that's what we're going to be looking at right here. So let's get started. So step one today is going to be looking at different combinations of CAC and discounts to see who has the highest and the lowest post-marketing contribution margins. And then step two is going to be to try to figure out which combination of CAC and discounts produce the largest sales lift and make you the most money overall as a business. Okay, so we have three scenarios. So we have scenario A, scenario B, and scenario C. So in all three of these scenarios, we will have the same starting point, which is we spend $100,000 in ad spend. So we have 100K, 100K, and 100K. And we're assuming that in all of these scenarios, it costs us about $1.50 per click to get traffic to the website. That could be a blended cost per click across different traffic acquisition channels. Maybe that's just paid acquisition, but we're going to assume that that's roughly what it costs to get one website session for our business. So what that means is that if you spend $100,000 at $150 a click, you get 66,667 website sessions. So all three of these scenarios are exactly the same. Now, the next thing is that our undiscounted price point for our product is $200. So $200, $200, $200, and then our COGS per customer are $50 to basically manufacture our product, get it to the fulfillment center, $25 to fulfill the product to the customer's front door. So COGS are $75 in every scenario. So with no discounts and sort of with this exact same marketing budget for each one, you can see that we make $125 of contribution margin. That is your AOV minus your COGS. So that's your gross profit, and we call that contribution margin in e-commerce. So here is the question now. Let's talk about scenarios where we start offering different discounts. So let's say that in scenario A, the discount is 0. In scenario B, we offer a $30 discount. And then in scenario C, we offer a $60 discount. So what you can see here is that reduces our discounted AOV, so our net average order value. In scenario A, it's still $200. Scenario B, it's $170, so you make $30 less per customer. And in scenario C, it's $140. And a lot of people would say, well, I could never afford scenario C because it's such a big revenue loss that I'll lose money. And so we're going to dig into that assumption in this analysis right now. So now let's talk about how your discounts impact your conversion rates and how your conversion rates impact your CAC. So in scenario A, we are saying that we acquire roughly 67,000 website sessions, and our average website conversion rate, so that's just the purchases divided by the total website traffic, is 1.5%. So 1.5% of our website visitors buy something. What that means is if you say, okay, 1.5% of 67,000 people buy something, you get 1,000 purchases. So your CAC is your total ad spend divided by your total first-time purchases. So our CAC in this scenario is 100,000 divided by 1,000. So we spend, on average, $100 of ad spend to get each of those purchases. Okay, so in scenario B, we're assuming that there has been an increase in the conversion rate. So if in scenario A, there's no discount and 67,000 people come to the website, 1,000 people buy, if tomorrow all of a sudden you start offering a $30 off discount, a higher percent of your website traffic will convert. So that will be a higher conversion rate. So we've assumed that the conversion rate jumps from 1.5% to 2.2%. And so what that means is that instead of 1,000 people buying from this same amount of traffic, we're assuming that 1,433 people buy. So 433 additional people buy because they're offered a discount, and that's what gets them to ultimately purchase. But what that means is that we still spent the same $100,000 in ad spend. So our average customer acquisition cost is actually lower because we have more customers buying on the same ad spend investment. So our CAC has actually dropped from 100 to 70. And in scenario C, we're now offering a $60 discount, which is, for this brand, let's say, is a very large discount, maybe a discount that we've never offered before. And so we are saying that the conversion rate jumps to 3.8%. And so what that means is that, again, off the same $100,000 investment in ad spend, we now convert 2,500 people. And so that brings our CAC to 40. So now the real question is, in which of these scenarios do we actually make the most money per customer? So you can see here that in scenario A, your revenue minus your COGS is 125. In scenario B, your revenue, which has dropped now to 170, minus COGS is 95. And in scenario C, your revenue minus COGS is 65. So it looks like your margins are going down very quickly. But I think you should always include discounts in your contribution margin as well as marketing. So if we also include the marketing, so this contribution margin just includes discounts. This contribution margin also factors in your CAC. And so this really gets to the bottom of the profitability of your customer, because discounts and CAC make no mathematical difference when it comes to unit economics. Both reduce customer lifetime and customer profit equally. So in scenario A, a customer pays $200. It costs us $75 to get the product to the customer. So we make $125, but we spent $100 in marketing on top of that. So it's $125 minus the $100 CAC. So really, this scenario, our contribution margin post-CAC is we made $25 off our relationship with that customer. Now in scenario B, our revenue was $30 lower. Our COGS were the same. So technically our contribution margin dropped. But because our CAC also dropped from 100 to 70, our contribution margin, when you add all of this together, was exactly the same. It was $25. And in scenario C, you'll also see that despite our contribution margin dropping here to 65, when you look at the contribution margin post-CAC, it's still $25. So I think brands, instead of looking at discounts, okay, discounts here in one line and then CAC down here, I think you should add your discount and your CAC together to really fully encompass your cost of acquisition for a customer. And what you'll see is that your discount plus CAC in each scenario is $100. So this could have told you that the profitability impact would have been the same across the board. So now you can see that we have the same unit economics from a contribution margin post CAC standpoint, so $25, and three scenarios which from the customer standpoint are very, very different. So the real question is, what is the optimal combination of marketing plus discounts to maximize your total revenue and your total contribution margin as a business, not just on a one customer basis? So the next step of our analysis is that we need to actually do that work to figure out which of these scenarios will generate the maximum profit for our entire company. And we're about to do that. But before we do so, I just want to say one quick thing. If your brand is looking to drive recurring revenue by launching or offering e-commerce subscriptions, Ordergroove is designed to deliver unmatched customer experiences that extend customer lifetime value for ambitious, fast-growing merchants with large order volumes. The leading brands in the e-commerce space have chosen Ordergroove to power their subscriptions, including companies like the Dollar Shave Club, L'Oreal, La Colombe, PetSmart, and many more. If you're doing over $1 million in subscriptions and need advanced capabilities like prepaid, memberships, and bundles, or if you're on a homegrown system and want to lower your technology costs and innovate faster, come book a demo with us to learn about how you can take your customer retention and recurring revenue to the next level. And don't forget to follow Ordergroove on LinkedIn to stay up to date with the latest subscription and recurring revenue trends. Okay, so now let's look at the total overall business to figure out which of these scenarios actually generates the most revenue and the most contribution margin post-marketing, so the most profit. So here you can see that we have the same three scenarios. In the first section, we have the exact same data that we just looked at, so same ad spend, website traffic, you see our AOV, which is declining with the discounts, our purchases, and our CAC. So now let's just calculate what would be the revenue and what would be the profit in each of these scenarios, because we actually already have all the data. We have the purchases and we have unit economics. So in scenario A, what we see is that we have 1,000 customers who pay $200 for an average order value. So that's $200,000 in net sales. In scenario B, we have 1,433 customers. They pay $170 each. So that ends up being $243 in sales. And in scenario C, despite the lower AOV at $140, you have 2,500 customers. So that's $350,000 in sales. So now let's look at what's the profit from those sales. So you have $75 per order as your COGS. And so in scenario A, that's $75,000. Scenario B, that's $107,000. Scenario C, $187,000. So your contribution margin before marketing is $125, $136, and $162. But now remember, in each of these scenarios, we spent the same $100,000 on ad spend. So what we see here is that when we subtract the $100,000 from the $125, so you can see we're doing that here, we have $25,000 in post-marketing contribution margins. That's really the profit for the company. Scenario B, we have $36,000, and in scenario C, we actually have $63,000. So scenario C is the most profitable post-marketing scenario for this is sort of like a future strategy split test, given that we spend the same amount in marketing, sort of like how can we figure out how to drive the most profits. And so I want to make a couple points. So, there may be scenarios where you have very different contribution margins post-marketing. Sometimes brands find that there's a scenario where they can achieve such a big sales volume that even if they have worse unit economics in a certain scenario, they still make more money. Other brands find that they want to actually shrink their revenue but have spectacular unit economics on a smaller subset of customers, and that's how they can make the most money. It's not necessarily that giving the biggest discount will make you the most money. I just wanted to demonstrate that it could be that scenario. And in our analysis, that's how it ended up going. But it can go both ways. The other thing that I just want to mention is that, a lot of brands think about their marketing and their discounts totally separately. But from a customer lifetime profit standpoint, they are equal. Whether you give $100 to Facebook, via its ad platform, or you give $100 to your customer via discount, the contribution margin post-marketing is the same. And so a lot of brands find that actually they get more of a lift in their sales by giving a better discount to the customer than by giving the same amount of money to an advertising platform. And so I'm not advocating discounting like crazy. Obviously that can damage your brand, but you should think about this before you formulate and finalize your strategy. And the other thing is, if you are running larger discounts, I would recommend that you don't just do this with flash sales. If you're a business that runs subscriptions or loyalty programs, your best discounts should be attached to an on-ramp into your loyalty program, so into a subscription program, not a flash sale, because customers that convert in flash sales a lot of times actually will not buy without a big discount. But if they agree to join a loyalty program through your flash sale, they've sort of self-selected into having a higher customer lifetime value. So give your best discounts to your best customers is basically what I'm saying. And the last thing that I just want to make as a point from a strategy standpoint is you should have one pool for all your discounts and marketing combined. They shouldn't be separate. It should be, okay, we have got $5 million this year. We're going to spend this pool to zero. How do we want to divide this up between discounts and marketing, knowing that if we spend that to zero, it's going to have the same profitability impact either way. So we want to figure out what's the optimal split to maximize the sales and the profit of our business. So I think whoever's running marketing should be thinking about the business holistically and figuring out, okay, where do we allocate these dollars? Understanding the unit economics behind discounting is key to scaling e-commerce businesses profitably. We hope this video has been helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next e-commerce strategy guide YouTube video.